This is a little thing I like to call MLB Rants. Everything I say in this video are only my opinions. They are not universally correct. So if there is something that you either agree on or disagree on, make sure you put that down in the comments and I might even respond to it. If there is something that happens next week that you want me to go over, then put that down in the comments as well, and it might even make an appearance in next week's video. So yeah, let's get right into it. This is MLB Rants 2021 season, episode 8. 8 episodes. Feeling good. A lot of stuff going on in the MLB. Let's do it. The first team I do want to talk about are the Chicago Cubs. I have been dissing on them a lot lately because they play in the NL Central. The NL Central isn't really that great. The Cubs have been making a really big impact for the fans of Chicago. They swept the Mets, who are on top of the NL East, and they've swept both the Dodgers and the Padres, who are both really good teams in the NL West. The fans are starting to notice this and notice the fact that, hey, maybe we're starting to pull it together, because you look at their roster and, it's not hard to tell how good they are when you've got Chris Bryant and Javier Baez playing on your team. Like, you should always be good. But for the Cubs, that just wasn't always the case. But now it kind of feels like they're pulling it together, and now it's looking up for the Cubs. So hopefully they can keep this going. Their fans are rooting for them to be a lot higher in the power rankings. It's one thing to actually start winning games, but it's a completely different thing to say, oh, now that we're winning games, we should be top in power ranking. Like, no, that's not how it works. You can have the Orioles go on a 5-game winning streak and their fan base go, oh, we should be top 5 in power rankings, when no, you shouldn't. And the same thing applies for the Cubs. They're not that good yet. They still aren't that far up on the overall MLB standings to actually get a mention to be even in the top 10 power rankings. But they are getting there, and the Cubs should be a real threat to the rest of the NL Central. Yeah, haven't done anything, keep losing in the postseason, not even making it to the postseason some years. And now it kind of looks like, with the help of Javier Baez and Chris Bryant, they're actually pulling it together and may even make an appearance into the postseason. Don't think they'll win the postseason because there are too many good teams this year, but who knows? Throughout the weeks, I've been constantly seeing a lot of things about the extra inning rule where you have a runner starting on second base. A lot of people have a problem with that, which I don't really understand, because I kind of love this rule and I love what it's for, and I feel like that's the reason why they hate it, is because they don't actually know the true purpose of the rule. And I've been seeing this since the season began. I've been seeing this constantly flying around about, well, is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? People addressing why it's bad, people addressing why it's good, and all this kind of stuff. Mainly, I feel like the reason why people are saying it's bad is because their team loses in those extra inning games, and it's like, oh, well, it's not fair because the runner started on second base. And it's like, but the same thing happened for you, so. The reason why they're implementing this rule is honestly just to speed the game up. And there are a lot of people who have a problem with change in the MLB. I've gone over this in so many other episodes about how change is the leading factor for why nothing really gets done in the MLB. Not a lot of people like it. And with the MLB, unlike other sports organizations, what they're trying to do is they're trying to implement rules and regulations so that people will actually enjoy the game, and so that people can actually take the time to learn about the game, to learn the rules and all that kind of stuff. What they're doing is just making the game go a lot faster so that fans don't get bored, so that people who usually don't watch baseball find another reason not to watch baseball. Because baseball is a long and rigorous sport. Every game that you go to is going to be at least 2.5 hours long. Take it or leave it. You've also got rules like the pitch clock. They've implemented that when they didn't need to, but the reason why they implemented that is because pitchers sometimes take a long time on the mound to throw pitches, and they're trying to speed that up. The same thing with the amount of visits to the mound that you can make. You're only allowed so many before you can't go there anymore. And the 3-batter minimum rule is another thing that speeds the game up. MLB, officials and all these people, they're just trying to make the game more enjoyable for the people that don't understand the game that much. And I hate seeing all these comments on social media about how, oh, this rule is so stupid, this rule is so stupid, this and that. And it's just like, but it's to make other people enjoy the game, just like how we enjoy the game. Other people find it boring because it's slow. There's not really a lot of action that goes on. Whereas all these rules that they're applying really enforces that and really, contradicts what they're saying. And hopefully in the future we'll have more MLB fans because of all these new rules, of how fast-paced the game will be, how more interesting the game can be. It is the end of another great month in the MLB, the month of May. And just like the end of April, I am going to highlight the best team of the month. I'm also going to throw in some honorable mentions that were on my list that I kept an eye on, but ultimately didn't make it because maybe one or two things that I didn't necessarily like. The first team I do want to talk about is the team that is on top of the MLB right now, the San Francisco Giants. They were my team of the month last month, and the only reason why they're not my team of the month this month is because of their series against teams in their own division. They really underperformed against them. And I said this before, that before the Dodgers-Giants series, it was really going to be a chance for the Giants to really prove a point for their team, and they really missed that opportunity. They lost, and it just wasn't good for the Giants. And then the same thing happened with the Padres too. They couldn't beat the Padres, even when the Padres didn't have an exactly healthy lineup. I mentioned the Cubs earlier in this episode, and the reason why they aren't team of the month is because they are still pretty far down on the overall MLB standings. But where they're at, I feel like they could definitely make a push in June, and they could possibly even be my team of the month for June because they've been looking really good. They've been beating some pretty good teams. They're not that far down, but they're not as high as they should be. If they keep performing the way they do, then they'll definitely be my team of the month next month, no doubt. The Dodgers and the Padres both are playing a lot of great baseball, but you look at their series against the Cubs, who at the time were really questionable. And you look at the Dodgers, and I've been saying this since the season started, that they have the exact same team since last year, and they're still losing all these games. And when the Padres play the Giants, I feel like they could have done a lot better. One more team I need to point out before revealing who my team of the month is are the White Sox. The White Sox have been talked about all month with Yermin Mercedes and by just being a good team overall. They've been really great, but the reason why they've been really great is because they play in the AL Central. The AL Central is composed of the Twins, the Indians, the Tigers, who are all terrible teams this year. With that said, my team of the month for the month of May are the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa Bay Rays have remained on the down low throughout this entire season. They started off really poorly, but throughout the month of May, they've really pulled it together to the point that they are now tied for the first place position in the MLB overall standings with the Giants, of course. And when you think about the teams they play, like the Yankees, who have actually started to heat up, like the Blue Jays, who have been constantly kind of good throughout the entire year, and also the Red Sox, who have always been there or thereabouts throughout this entire year, they're beating all those teams. They played the Yankees 13 times, and in those 13 games, they've beaten them 8 times, which is really good for the Rays, because you wouldn't have thought that they would actually be able to do that against the Yankees, who is essentially becoming the powerhouse that we've been anticipating for years at this point. They also were able to get 4-game sweeps against the Blue Jays and the Angels, who are both great teams in the AL. They've got great players. I know the Angels haven't been performing as well as they should, but that doesn't dismiss the fact that they've got great players on their team. And the same thing with the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are there or thereabouts in the AL East too, and they are thereabouts on the MLB standings. So my team of the month for May are the Tampa Bay Rays. They've really been the underrated team, especially for this month. And they've really proved themselves, especially for what they were supposed to be this year, just like the Giants were last month. That is it for this week's episode. I have nothing else to say. Episode 8, hope you thought it was a banger. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe, and also tap on that little bell icon underneath this video so that you can get push notifications. Basically, whenever I post, you will get a little notification telling you that I posted. I post on a weekly basis every Friday, so if you have a really good memory and you remember everything I say, then I upload every Friday. Put down in the comment section what you agree with, what you disagree with. If there is something that you do want me to go over next week, then put that down in the comment section below, and it might even make an appearance in next week's episode. Besides that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.